I picked up some water back there, so I've got plenty of water. Just need someone to put my head down now. Churchyard would be good to cook my meal, that's for sure. Oh look, here we are. This is the church at Sherrington, dedicated to saints. I'll look it up in just a minute. Look at that open bell tower up there. Looks like it's a porch as well. So if I've written this down correctly, this is St Casmus and St Damien. This is wonderful, isn't it? It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. There's the old roof there, the more modern repair by the look of it. That lovely open bell tower. I wonder if it's open. There's definitely a seat round the back I can sit and cook my meal. Hardly surprising it's locked. Seat there. There's a few too many houses around, I think, for here. So I think we're going to need to press on to Codford. It's 9:15 p.m. now, and I've just arrived at, I think it's the 17th church, 16th or 17th church. It's at Codford. Left the Wylye Valley, nice road, came up to the A36, cut across it, and this is just a dead end up here. This is all I could find, so I'm just going to cook my meal here. There's a seat here just in the last of the daylight, and then I'm probably going to put my tent up over back there. There's a couple of houses down there, so I need to be quite discreet, but once it gets dark I should be sort of quite covert here. I've just put the trangia on, letting it bloom up, and I've got some rice which I'm going to boil, and then the old favourite, a tin of chili con carne. I've got 2 doom bars from earlier on. I'm going to get all this done before I start putting my tent up, so it'll be 10 o'clock by the time I get my tent up. I've got my head torch, so I'm going to have to be discreet anyway. You may see from my carriage ice panniers in my hand, I've got my head torch on red, so I can see what I'm doing, but it's not sending out a beam. So I'm going to be eating my meal on here, boiling some water, do the washing up. I'm just going to be eating out the pan to save washing up. Then I'll be putting my tent up away from all the graves. Over there, there's another seat very close to a footpath that runs up to a farm. Just gone 5 AM, my alarm's just gone off. I have been awake about 45 minutes. The dawn chorus was just so loud. Wonderful, but I can also hear the traffic building up on the A36 as well. There's my tent. It's the Vango Banshee 200. Putting that up in the dark with just a red light was challenging to say the least, but you know, 10-15 minutes and I got it up. I got it right down the very end of the churchyard, nowhere near any graves, and it's by that gate. There's all my food and my beer bottles bagged up there, tied up. I'll be getting rid of that at the first bin I see. Just going to get me sleeping bag and the sleeping mat folded up, and then I'll drop the tent. Yesterday afternoon I got to about halfway in my church's list. I'm visiting 30 running parallel to the River Wylye from its source to its confluence. And about 7 PM I started thinking, oh, I'll look for somewhere to camp soon. And I just could not find a water source. All day I'd been seeing taps in churchyards, and it took me ages to find somewhere. Eventually I got my water bag filled there. It's a folding Field and Trek water bag. I got that filled at a country workshop that had an outside tap, and then I just struggled to find anywhere to camp. I did try one field, but it's very long grass and it's boggy underfoot. It's almost like a swamp. That was no good. So I just kept pressing on to churches, thinking I may even bivvy in a church porch, and of course they were all locked. Even the outer gates were locked, and in the end I got to Codford, just off the old A36. Can hear the new bypass and distance traffic speeding along. and I just thought this is ideal. There is a cottage around the corner, but there's this little nook here, this little corner, that I was able to just put my ground sheet out, just get organised, cook a meal there. Cooking this morning, actually, well, in fact, I'm boiling some water first and then I'll have some breakfast. And then I was very aware that I needed to keep the light down. Right down the very bottom corner, there's a seat down there. I leant my bike up against there and put my tent up there. But I was very aware that I couldn't really use my head torch. Didn't get here till 9:15, so by the time I'd eaten it was 10:15. I was trying to put a tent up there with my head torch, but on the red setting, so I could see what I was doing, but it was quite hard work to get my tent up. So I set in line for 5 a.m. this morning, had all the tent packed up, put away by about 5:45, and it's now about 6:15, so I'm just reversing what I did last night, cooking, get everything out on the ground sheet, and then I'll gradually get packed away. And this is church number 18, so I've got 12 left to visit today. That's brilliant. The key holder's just arrived and he's opened up the church, so I can go and have a look in. He was telling me that this porch was an island side was added at a later date from the original structure, and there used to be a well, and there's a picture of it in there. And if you see that gravestone over there, circular one, it's slightly leaning. He was just telling me it's doing that, it's subsiding because that's where the water source is. And he was also saying once there was a gentleman come here and he was a water diviner, and he told him the story about the well, and he didn't sort of indicate where it was, and he sort of said, would you be able to find it? And the guy with his prongs went round a little bit and he went straight over there and found it without being told. Fantastic story. And he's also asked me if I'd be kind enough to sign the visitor's book. I told him I always do. He said there's two. There's one in the porch for Anzacs, and the other visitors, myself included, will be just inside when you go through the inner wire door. So brilliant. I'm going to get to look around St Mary's Church. Just going to finish my packing and I'll be going in there. The other thing I noticed while I was just finishing off my breakfast, the bell rang at 7 a.m. Now it hadn't been going off all night, and I thought, I wonder if it's been set so as not to disturb the neighbours. And he said to me when he arrived, oh, the bell will be going off any minute, it'll ring at 8 a.m. And I said, yeah, I heard it from a while. And I told him I'd heard it go off at 7. I said I was waiting around, hoping to look around the church. And he said, yeah, it's pre-programmed not to ring through the night, as I thought, not to disturb the neighbours. But he said it's actually radio controlled from Teddington. Whether he means Teddington in Middlesex or not, I'm not sure. But I thought possibly there may be some programme attached to the clock. But yeah, radio controlled. I just love things like this. Like, that's what those two stories are what fascinate me about churches. Just, I like the architecture and I like going in, I like the emotional buzz from walking through the door, and sometimes I like researching the history, but sometimes it's just so nice to just talk to locals. You tell you these wonderful anecdotes like that. You see it, looks blue sky already. Let's go and have a look at St Mary's Church, Codford. Gentleman did ask me to shut the outer door as well as the inner. I'm never quite sure what to do with that because it can sometimes make the church look closed. And there's the Anzacs visitors book. He said even though it clearly says Anzacs only, there's another one for the general public inside. He said people quite often fill that in by mistake. St Mary's, Codford, and the wire door to keep the birds out. The grill. Oh, this is nice. This is really, really nice. It's just up a dead end in the village. That'd be the bell tower through there behind the curtain. There's all the bell ropes and the ladder up to the tower. Sketch of Codford St Mary's Church, Wilts, previous to alterations. So it's coming up to 9:15. This church is number 18 on the list, St Mary's at Codford. Then back down into the village along the old high street will be St Peter's, half a mile away at Codford. And then we head back down across the A36 over the River Wylye, about a mile back up to the Wiltshire Cycleway route, the nice quiet route that runs parallel. Very reluctantly I'm leaving. Just so nice talking to that key holder. He's just so interesting what he told me. I love stories like that. That's me just come down Church Lane. As you can see, it's a no-through road. Pretty much stops at the church. Reference to the Anzac war graves, Commonwealth war graves. This would have been the old A36 going through Codford. I can't imagine that vast amount of modern day traffic coming through here. So I just come down the old high street. Look, there's the old chippy. And it says there, a plaque, the old chippy Codford, Nick and Teresa first met here. As we're about to merge with the new A36, the bypass, I just spotted this bridge. This is where the River Wylye is flowing. Can't get across. I think there used to be a footpath before that bypass, but we just have to curve round on the road, run across, and then we're pretty much right opposite our junction. So if we'd got across that bridge, that's where the footpath used to go. It's all blocked off now. So we had to come that way, wait for a gap in the traffic to run across. And here's the River Wylye. Really does seem quite wide now, doesn't it? And that's looking upstream. This would have probably been a really peaceful spot years ago before they plonked that bypass there. But I'm sure the village are thankful of it. Can you imagine this amount of traffic going through that high street? Well, we came in on that lane last night, but my GPS is clearly sending me down here. It says Stockton Park, private road, although back there's a sign saying stick to footpaths, so there must be public access. There was a festival being set up and it said public parking in this field. I did pop in and see if they were doing any form of camping, but he said no. And also they just cut the grass, and that would have been unbearable being around that overnight. I'm just so pleased I pressed on to St Mary's because it was just absolutely wonderful nights camping there. Anyway, let's see if we can get along here. All we're doing really is cutting off the base of the triangle, if you know what I mean. If not, we would have to go that way, turn left. But I'm pretty sure the Garmin's sending me this way, so let's go and see. Another new road for me. So you come up the gates of Stockton Park, and you go up the gates, come up here, ride across some cobbles, and I suddenly realised where I am. This is the Wiltshire Cycleway road that goes across a few cobbles. And then just down here, there's an Anzac War Memorial. I'll stop there. I normally do, just to doff my cap, but I'll stop there specifically today because there's been so many references to Anzacs on this trip. There's the boundary sign for Stockton. So church imminent. And there's what I want to show you, that board up there. It says Anzacs in Codford. During World War I, the Wylye Valley became the centre of large training and transfer camps for tens of thousands of troops waiting to move to France. The Lamb Down chalk badge and the Anzac War Cemetery are the only reminders of a period of troops from Britain, Australia and New Zealand were stationed in and around the village. It tells you there's the Church of St Mary, that's where we've just come from, up in the top centre, Anzac war graves. The Lamb Down badge. I've never actually seen it, to be honest. There are some amazing chalk badges. If you leave Salisbury and Wilton on the A30, you head towards Fovant and you'll see them there. There's several regimental badges cut up in a chalk down, a bit like a white horse, except they're regimental badges. We're looking for St John the Baptist at Stockton. Again, ridden by here so many times, can't quite picture where the church is, but so far I've done my homework with the GPS. It's sending me up to all the locations. There's the road running. I've just come in from the left, heading right. I saw a little spur heading off on my Garmin track. I've come up here, and there's a churchyard here. I can't see where the church is. So I'm just going to ride along here and see where it is. I can't be too far from it. And here we are, just came around the corner. You can just about see it through the trees. That's really hidden away. Another one, look, there's the road. I've ridden by there so many times, just never knew this was here. St John the Baptist, Stockton. Let's go and have a look. I'm just passing under the A303 and over to London Road. Cyclists just passed me there, running alongside the railways. You can see the Bristol to Salisbury line. Be coming back up that tonight actually. And I'm coming into the village of Wylye. On my last video, I sort of said there's a cut through at Wylye called Teapot Street. Well, I'm not taking that today. I'm actually going down into the village itself. There's a post office where hopefully I can have some breakfast, pick up some supplies. Also a pub if you needed it. And also that's where my next church is. Plus I'm hoping when I cross the River Wylye, I can use a riverbank to get to Fiston Delamere to avoid riding on the busy A36. I'm going to give that a go. So I'm really looking forward to going into the village of Wylye, just having a refreshment stop. Just after you pass one of the turnings for the A303, here's the boundary sign for Wylye. Breakfast, here we come, hopefully. Here's the post office. Just after the post office on the same side of the road, St Mary the Virgin, Wylye. It's got a lot of scuffling up around it. There's a seat right underneath it. Probably going to aim for that. Just as I pass under the Lich Gate, it tells you when it was erected then, May 1885. Lovely little structure, isn't it? Right next to it, you've got the Bell Pub if you wanted a drink. Right, let's go and have a look. First, before I go in, I'm going to have a snack. Quite a lot of tomb graves, aren't there? Please close the door, which suggests it's open. Yep. Quite dark in there, but look at that. St Petrus. Okay, leave my cat there, make sure I don't forget it because it's very dark. Pull. Oh gosh, this is really nice. So, bell tower there. That's what's having the work done. That wooden musty smell. So the bell tower's got its own entrance. There's all the ropes there, look. Stained glass at the back. Wooden boards up there. A pail of 540 minor. A pail of 540 doubles. So they're awards by the look of it. Gosh, lots of trophies. I look at bell ringers in a different light now ever since that tramping trip where I was taken up in the bell tower, given a guided tour by a bell ringer. And then, of course, when I stayed at that church St Leonard's that night, the bell ringers were very friendly, invited me up. I had to decline because my feet were so cold and wet. But just eating my meal and just chilling out in the evening here and all that bell ringing was fantastic. Okay. Going up the main aisle. Gosh, quite a sharp roof, isn't it? Gosh, very dark, ornamental pulpit. Pretty spectacular and ornamental sound plate as well. Wheelchair ramp up. To avoid the step up into the chancel. And then that instant change in atmosphere and lighting. Very tall stained glass windows. And a crown at the top. That's looking out the south window. Organ, vestry, I'd imagine. Back of the pulpit. Gosh, look at that. Almost like a chapel altar, isn't it? I'm hoping there's not too much glare on this. I can give you an overview of what we're doing. So there's this Wiltshire cycleway route going from left to right down towards Salisbury, paralleling the busy A36 there. That's the A303 crossing it. That's where we passed under it. And we are here by the Bell Inn, that church there. And where we want to get to is Fishton Delamere up there, St Nicholas. It's a redundant church managed by the Churches Conservation Trust. That bit of main road is horrible. You only got to go around there. But it says on their website it's a favourite stop for Wylye Valley walkers. And I thought, oh right, there must be a footpath along the riverside. And as we leave the village heading up towards the A36, that horrible big junction, there is a footpath there. I've ridden along it before, but I only got about as far as there, and it just became waterlogged because we'd had a lot of rain and the river was just flooding the fields. But you can see it looked like a popular walk. So I'm hoping that we can get our bike along there and go up there. Failing that, we will just have to main road it, try and pavement as much as possible. So that's what we're doing. Just past the pub as we go to leave the village, cross the River Wylye, turn left, try and riverbank it to Fishton Delamere. We've just come round past the village hall. You can see the church tower there. The very grand River Wylye sign there, isn't there? The biggest one I've seen so far. It sounds like there might be a watermill or something in there, like a race going through. Yeah, that looks like it may have been an old watermill. There's definitely a drop behind there, but it's private by the look of it. See it all swirling. And that's what I'm going to try and ride along here. There's a footpath. I know I can get so far along there because I did it on my second visit to St Nicholas. The first time I came in from the western end and I just main roaded it on the A36 and it's horrible. So last time I came I thought I'd try this. I got so far until I had to turn around and come back, and then I A36'd it from this direction. But I'm hoping today, with it being relatively dry, we'll be able to get there. And bonus, ride alongside the River Wylye. And it says there, public footpath. And I'm aware footpaths, pedestrians have right of way, so any walkers I'll be getting off and pushing. Lovely, isn't it? Riding right alongside the Wylye. Upstream a mile or so. This is a horse riding saw, you can tell by the long handle. So if horses can get along here, I'd imagine a bicycle could, as long as it's not flooded as it was last time. It just sounds like you're about to join a really busy road. In fact, we're going to go underneath it. Just passed through a second star. Now we're going underneath this bridge. Really is a footpath now. Oh yeah, there's a board here. It says here, life on the River Wylye. The parish of Fishton-de-la-Mare is first mentioned in the Domesday Book of the 11th century. It says the river is special for wildlife as well as people. Gosh, it's like a road map of all the rivers. So there's the Wylye coming in. The Till that comes down through Stapleford, the thankful village I visited, joins the River Wylye. Then you can see that flows into the Nadder, which has been running parallel to, and then they both flow into the Hampshire Avon. It picks up the Ebble and the Dockings as well. And then it passes down through Ringwood in the New Forest, eventually flows into the English Channel, Christchurch near Bournemouth. Right, I have to take this steady, but it's going to be much nicer than that main road. These lovely buttercups, literally right alongside the River Wylye. There's a tree down over there. So I got along here about a quarter of a mile further last time, and that river had just literally come up and burst its banks and flooded the footpath. I've zoomed out of the route, so if I do have to main road it, that's the route. But you can see I'm sort of trying to cut that corner off. So basically that's where I'm heading. So hopefully it'll give me an idea as we zoom in. I can keep adjusting the scale to see how much further it is. I wouldn't have thought it's more than a mile. I've got plenty of time. That's why I've taken 2 days to ride 50 odd miles. There's no rush whatsoever. When I tried to ride along here last time, this was about as far as I got. It just had burst its banks here, and I was ankle deep down in boggy grass. You can sort of see where it's come up. So what's that, about at least a metre and a half when it's flowing fast, as it was back in February. So far so good. Lumpy and bumpy. Well, I'm just looking down at my GPS and it looks like we're very, very close to the end of the planned track, which would be fantastic. Look at it flowing by really fast here, spilled over into that field there through the fence. I'm looking at my GPS, so the dark line is where I'm going. That was the alternative road route if I had to. So you can see I'm almost there, and just behind these trees, won't come out in the camera, there's a house. So where there's a house, there's a track. I think that may be Fishton-de-la-Mare. So at some point we need to turn off right. I'm hoping there's going to be a footpath or a track up to it. That's what this is all about. Just give it a go and see if it works. It either will or it won't. Excellent. The paths suddenly become a little bit firmer. That's the church up there. That's what we're heading for. So the Wylye Valley footpath does take there. So in the winter, do not attempt this on a bike, and you probably won't get through on foot if there's been a lot of rain, but it's definitely doable on a bicycle. So you emerge at the right hand end of that fence, just come up the footpath, and this is the track that runs from the A36, comes round in a big loop. As I remember it, the access to the church by vehicle or by bike is up here. Some steep steps back that way, so just round the corner hopefully we're going to gain access to the church. Gosh, this was all low grass when I was here back in January, and then again in February. So overgrown. That must have been a grand entrance once upon a time, and here it is. It's a redundant church, it's no longer in use. It's managed by the church's conservation trust. Before we have a look in the church, because it's a gem I'll show you here, here's the pedestrian access up some fairly steep steps from like a little village green. This really is just a very small village set back from a very, very busy road, the A36 up there. Look at this. The old village green. So if you came in from the A36 from the Bath direction, you would just turn right and loop round here. and then carry on that road that we've just joined, and it'll take you back up on the A36. This lamp here, it says it was given in memory of Lieutenant Colonel Norman Jeans by the staff of the Fishton Delamere Estates, September 1972. There's this wonderful swing hasp here. You've got to really line that gate up to get that lock to engaged, or even just to get the gate to shut. There you go. Trying to do that one-handed. Then you go into a fairly modern looking door. Here we are. Gallery at the back. And there's a pretty impressive screen at the front. I was reading the overview of that, and apparently when that was first put in, the locals really didn't like it. They hated it, it said. You can get access up there by a very tight spiral staircase. And look how it just changes as you walk through underneath the screen into the chancel. Just darkens significantly. Lots of windows open for ventilation. Fairly basic pews at the back. That big cross at the top of the screen. Oh, I'm so glad I got here without having to use the A36. So I came here first when I was cycling from Westbury down to Salisbury, stage 2 of my Wiltshire Churches Conservation Trust tour, visiting all the CCT properties in Wiltshire, and this was quite difficult to get to safely, so it's so nice to know you can ride and walk along the riverbank. Quite steep steps down there. There is a guardrail as well. Probably a good idea to use that if it's been raining. These steps could be slippery, but you're coming down at somebody's roof level. Just go down and have a look at the River Wylye. In the winter you can get the really good views of it across, but there's a lot of foliage and leaves on the trees that just block it out in the summer. Gosh, nice little garden house. Look at this watermill, look, old watermill. Right, we'll go and walk round there. She'll get a better idea of how the road splits. And look at this, some good views of the River Wylye. You can see it splits here a little bit. I can see actually it's coming in this way. Look, there's a sluice there, allowing that water to go through the watermill, and then it'd bend. I imagine they converge down there. The River Wylye does split quite a lot actually, controlling the water flow. Look, wow, that's lovely. I imagine that would be a walk back along River Wylye, popular with walkers. I can see why that church is such a popular stop, because you're coming along here, changing direction, walking through the village slightly. That must just almost summon you up there actually for the views and the rest. But the water flow forcing its way through the sluice. Picnic tables there, bet that's nice on a summer's evening. Okay, these distances are all thrown out now because I've done so many detours, and it's quite good because you can tell roughly when the next churches are. So that's like 4 miles, isn't it? 41.5 to 45.5. So we're going to retrace back to Wylye the way we've come in along that riverside footpath, go back up past the pub, the church and the post office, and then join the Wiltshire Cycleway stroke nice Wylye Valley Road, carry on down, and there's one more church we've got to go up on the A36 for. I think it's South Newton. So the next 1, 2, 3 are going to be on the nice quiet roads, and that'll get us up to 49.25, and the last church is 53.75. So you can see we're sort of homing in on our destination. My train's not to 7:42, so I'm in no rush whatsoever. I don't want to get to Salisbury too early, otherwise I'll be killing time. Passing underneath the railway. Again, this is what I'll be travelling back to Bath on tonight. So the section between Salisbury up to Warminster follows the Wylye Valley, a bit like this road does. Sometimes it's very close, other times it's about a mile away, but it's pretty much doing the same thing as we've been doing. So that first section tonight, I'm going to really enjoy that. Just zooming along here thinking, oh, I wonder if that's where the lakes were, or I remember that church and that sort of thing. It's going to bring back a lot of memories, I think. So we're just coming into Little Langford, our next destination. You see it's a very sort of small hamlet almost. You can see a post box up there. According to GPS, go along here, take that left, another left, and that must be the church down there. And then retrace, carry on towards Wilton. So the main road bends round to the right there. Little concrete bus shelter there. Post box, little village triangle. Railway bridge, says no through road. That's where the church is down there. Do you know, I can't even say this looks familiar. It just really doesn't. I've probably just zoomed by so many times, never taken any notice. I've definitely never been down here before. This, by the look of it, this track, yeah, just had the ping. Even says, look, to the church. As the road suddenly turns into gravel. To the church, rectory paddock, so it can't be too far along there. Little Langford's not very big anyway, but this really is out the way. I imagine this must be a redundant church. My Garmin track says it's about to end. See a house. No sign of a church yet. And hear the road over there. I think I might have just spotted it. And my track is literally just about to end. And there's the church. Wow. And there's the railway running along there. There's where I spoke to you a few minutes ago. That's where the boundary sign was, by those farm buildings. Here's someone streaming around there. It says St Nicholas of Myra, Little Langford. Wow, I could have done with this last night, couldn't I? Just sat here having a long lunch, snacking away on my peanut cookies, and I'm doing a little bit of checking where we are. Oh, train going by the look of it. There you go, that's what we'll be getting home tonight. I'm going to try and look out and see if I can spot this. We're on church number 24. This is St Nicholas of Myra at Little Langford. And then we go down to Great Wishford. And then that's looks like it's up on the main road, the A36. So I've just got the ride with GPS app up actually. I just wanted to see. So that's where we are. We've come along here and snaked around there. Exactly where it says 47. So then we carry on down. It's Great Wishford. And we need to loop down into the village because normally the cycling route would just carry on down there, avoiding the village. So we go down there, two sides of the triangle. And then the next church is up on the A36, but it doesn't look too bad. So you go down there. Looks like it may be a bit of rough stuff. Look, that dotted red line. Then over the A36 that way. and the church is at South Newton 51, and then we retrace back this route and you're pretty much on the outskirts of Wilton there, and that's where the final churches will be, and it's where the River Wylye flows into Nadder at Quidhampton. I'll try and film it, but it's a very, very busy road. I'll have to use Google Maps to locate that because I just can't picture it. I'm pretty sure it's quite hidden. So I'll overshoot that junction. That's quite a busy road, and I'll probably be hitting that at rush hour as well. So I need to be careful there. You can see the River Wylye flowing into the Nadder. That would be our last crossing of the River Wylye before it flows into Nadder there, look, just south of Quidhampton, and then they both flow into the Avon at Salisbury. And that would be our route down into the back of Salisbury. Although I couldn't get in this church, I've just loved sitting here, having a nice relaxing second lunch, watching the trains go by, thinking about that journey home tonight. But I just noticed that there's some solar candle outdoor lights. That must be so nice as it gets dark, just seeing this bit lit up. Oh, and there's an outside electric light there. Oh, both sides. This is just so remote. I won't forget this place in a hurry. St Nicholas of Myra, Little Langford. It's only 2 o'clock. I've got nearly 6 hours to get to Salisbury, so I'm certainly not rushing. I don't know how I feel about tonight eating. I think I may well try and get some fish and chips or a takeaway, maybe sit on the station and eat it. I'm not sure if I'm in the mood for Wetherspoons. It's nice in the winter to dive in there, but on a summer's evening I don't particularly want to be sat in a pub. We'll see anyway. That lovely wooden, it's almost like a Scandinavian stave roof. Bell would be in that, I'd imagine. Weather vane. Just the minute you get away from the shelter of the church, you can just hear the roar of the main road. One more trip on it we've got, that's all. Wonder where that leads. 4-wheel drive, so farmers access to a field maybe. Whether it actually goes anywhere. Some power lines going that way, so it could be heading to remote farmhouses. Okay, I think I'm going to start packing up, making my way down to Great Wishford. 2.5 miles to the next church. Time to go. I'm now south of Great Wishford, and as I left Great Wishford I saw a row of houses called Grovely Cottages, and I suddenly realised I'm running alongside Grovely Woods. That's them high up there. When you follow Margaret's 45B, the Roman road from Old Sarum to Charterhouse up on the West Mendips where there were lead mines, you leave Old Sarum, drop down to the Wylye Valley and then cross it near Wilton, and then you climb up through those woods, and that's the start of the Great Ridge. You stay up there really at that elevation all the way to Maiden Bradley basically. There's a story attached to those woods, quite haunting. 4 Danish immigrants, 4 sisters, came to Wilton round about the time of the plague, and then there was a big outbreak in the town of Wilton, and these 4 newcomers were blamed for it. They thought they were witches, so they were taken up there, bludgeoned to death, had their heads smashed in, and they were even buried apart from each other so they couldn't conspire in death. And it's said that there's these 4 beech trees that have grown up at the site of their graves, and when you go up there you've got to look for them because it's amongst a load of pines, and you'll see them all decorated. They're like shrines, you know, all got coloured bunting and lanterns on and just all sorts of colourful paraphernalia. So it's well worth a visit up there. The Roman road goes right the way through it. It's straight as a ruler. It's quite atmospheric up there. And it's also said you can hear the marching of Roman soldiers going through there after dark. Quite a haunting sort of place. I can understand why there's so many haunting stories attached to it. And so I've come down here only about half a mile further on, and here's my footpath going across it through the fields. So I've got to go along here. It's only the other side of the trees, the A36, and then ride up that way. So I'm looking directly up at Wylye Woods. And to my right, these amazing sort of purpley weed look flowers. Not sure what they are. There's a few poppies there as well. At the end of that field you come to what looks like a farmer's bridge over the Wylye. A couple of miles north of Wilton. Then we can converge with that main road. A bit further on you emerge at this farm entrance onto the A36. Looks like I've got pavement, quite narrow, so I'll take it steady. But I'd rather have the pavement than this traffic. That wasn't bad at all actually. A couple of 100 yards just past those trees there. And there's the church there, St Andrew's, South Newton. Gosh, there's a load of hens and chickens in the yard. And it says open daily. There's a sandwich board sign there, so it looks like I'll be able to get in. They ran off those chickens, hens. Right behind there. There they are, look. Right. Okay, let's go in there. St Andrew's, South Newton. Wow, lovely wooden porch. This is the sort of thing I was looking for last night. I'd have bivvied in that easily. Big old lantern above it. Really nice wooden design. Okay, let's go and have a look. The inner door, wire mesh. Welcome to St Andrew's Church. God, it smells of joss sticks. Dark in here. See if I can get some lights on. Some, might be more lights. Wow. Okay, let's walk down the main aisle. Pulpit on the right. Up into the carpeted chancel. Managed to get a stick. Got all the mud out from under my shoes. In between the cleat and the recess. Central window is a crucifixion. I am the bread of life. Wow. Church number 26. Gosh, look, another one of those old fashioned beers. Bring the coffins in. Looking back up at Wylye Woods. Felt a little bit of rain in there, just spitting. I thought I could smell joss sticks, it's not, it's a wood fire. You can see the smoke drifting over. Ah, there's the source of the smoke. Starts sloping up straight away, doesn't it? Northern walls of the valley. Looks like the old churchyard, the new. Chap looks like he's doing some work here. These look all new graves, don't they? That's the chancel facing east, graves facing east. So the feet of the deceased are facing the rising sun, symbolises rebirth and renewal. Wow, look at that up there. They're probably going to scarper when they see me. Well, it tastes lovely with some carrots and some sauce. Don't walk on people's graves, it's bad manners. That last church on the A36 wasn't too bad at all. Much shorter than I thought it would be, and also you had that pavement. Here we are, coming up to this metal bridge. There we are, looking down towards Wilton, back up towards, well, the source, I guess you'd say. And back down past this field of what looks like wildflowers. Just crossing the railway again. So it was on our right and now it's going to be on our left. Just looking up at Gravely Woods. Just after you cross the railway, and it's now on our left. That's the outskirts of Wilton, the start of Wilton. See all the brown houses coming down. Within a mile we'll be in Wilton. Here we are, coming into Wilton. There's the boundary sign. Historic Wilton, ancient capital of Wessex. I've been in Somerton in Somerset and I've seen that claimed to be the ancient capital of Wessex. So a clever bit of marketing. This is our final town with churches. There's going to be 3 churches here. And then as we leave Wilton, we will go and try and find the last bridge over the River Wylye. So we started the journey on the first bridge, going to try and finish it on the last bridge. Just about to join the main road, the A30, coming in from Exeter into Wilton, Salisbury. This is the main line coming in. This is not the one we've been following. This is coming in from Exeter in Salisbury, which is a big junction. But if you ever want to attempt to retrace the Roman road, this is where you start. It's literally in the middle of Wilton, and you head up there. You climb up gradually, then it levels out at Gravely Woods. You're in there a long time. Basically, the next time you come down on low ground will be Maiden Bradley. If you ever attempt that, I would urge you to stock up on supplies because there's nothing up there for miles and hours. Anyway, meantime, I'm going to go down there, turn left. 3 more churches, 2 in Wilton itself, and then 1 just as we climb out and head towards Salisbury on the A36 before we then drop back down towards the Wylye, and we'll try and find this last road bridge. So I've just turned up into Wilton Square. Here's our penultimate church. That's remains of the nave, and the chancel still open 10 AM to 5 PM on an automatic timer release. Don't think it's 5 PM yet. Let's hope we can get in. This ancient church is cared for by the Churches Conservation Trust. So there's the ruins. Big wooden cross there. Hoping we can get in. Yes. So this is the remains of the chancel, so you can see the archway would have gone into the nave. There's this book there. Spotted this before, actually. It's fascinating. In the medieval period, there were said to be 12 churches in Wilton. There's certainly 3, because that's the 3 I'm going to. The site of St Mary's Old Church is thought to be the earliest, so this is the oldest thought to be. And here's a model of what it looked like. So basically, this is all that remains. It's thought this model was made by a local clockmaker. There's a picture of it, look. So it had a bell tower as well at the back nave. Step, the altar, crucifixion. The River Wylye is nearing the end of its course and it splits up here. And we'll go over it a few times here on different bridges. It's almost just like a little stream or a brook, isn't it? That's come off the River Wylye. Heading towards the River Nudder. A couple of 100 yards further on. Another bit of the River Wylye. Just looks all quite clogged up here, doesn't it? Doesn't seem to be flowing that fast. So it's starting to split and fragment. There's another bit over here. Oh, that looks more substantial. Yeah, this is probably the main river. That definitely has got a flow, hasn't it? Just as we join our old friends, the A36, heading into Salisbury by the Wheatsheaf pub. This is the main body of the River Wylye. That has got a lot more flow, isn't it, and more water. So you can see how it's split about 3 or 4 times just down here. And it actually says River Wylye here, so you're in no doubt. So this must be one of the last bridges over the River Wylye. We'll go and see if we can find the last bridge. So I've just taken that short stretch along the pavement here. If we'd carried on that road through Wilton, if I hadn't have turned up by the side of Old Mary Church, we would have stayed on this A30. So I'm just going to pop down where that car is at the moment. That's the bridge going over the River Wylye. You see the A30 crossing the A36 there. The A30 is the one going straight up. So this would take us back into Wilton. It's the entrance to Wilton House there. So this is a very wide stretch of the River Wylye, isn't it? Bowling club over there, fountain. For those dragon's teeth that like tank traps. So, counting down one of the final bridges across the River Wylye. Our final church on this trip, number 30, is literally just round the corner. Rather than go up that busy junction and go round it, navigate on the road, I'm just going to get on the pavement and ride round. The entrance to the church is just before you get to the junction, so it's even better, we can go in this way. Come a long way since that 12th century church at Maiden Bradley yesterday morning. About a 6-mile ride south from Frome Station. Seems more than a day ago. Wow, look at that recessed window underneath the tower. I've just passed a lady with some flowers. She looks like she's been doing some gardening. So whether she's the key holder. No, look, it's locked. Even if I lift that up, it's wired shut, isn't it? St. Peter's Church, this building is still in use and kept under regular surveillance. So no access by the look of it. Again, doesn't really surprise me, being in a big urban area. Have a wander around. It's got character, that's for sure. It's on this busy road. Just give you an idea of what we're doing. This is the A36 final stretch. Just going to pavement it along for about a quarter of a mile, turn right, and the final bridge across the River Wylye will be there just before it flows into the River Nudder. Oh, rush hour traffic. Tap spotted it straight away. I've been spotting them all day. Where were they when I needed them yesterday? That door is definitely wired shut. I wonder if there's another entrance. I wouldn't have thought so because that looks like the main obvious porch. Tried the chancel door, but I wouldn't have thought so. No, that's a shame. Because it's quiet here, I'll try and explain what we're going to do. That blue dot is where I am on the corner of that junction. So we're going to go down here, take this road, eventually take that minor road through Quidhampton into the back of Salisbury. There's the River Nadder, and that'll be the final bridge there of the River Wylye, that second one. So I'm going to go down there, just try and find out where that is. Well, I came along the A36, did a right hand turn, where that car's trying to pull out of, indicating that's the way I'll be going. But I meant to overshoot that to come and see this. This is the River Nadder flowing in, and the very next bridge will be the River Wylye, just about to flow into it, which is actually going down to Ringwood and Bournemouth, which is apt because it's following the course of the River Avon, which this, my friends, is the last bridge of the River Wylye before it's about to join the River Nadder, which is just over there. Where my bike's parked, you'll see the flashing light, that's the bridge over the Nadder. So they're about to converge here. And then they'll both join the River Avon, which turns south down through Ringwood to Christchurch. And there's the proof, look, the River Wylye, right next to the River Nadder over there. The last of the bridges. So literally about 50 feet along, there's the Nadder, so you can see they're just about to merge. So now I'm just going to walk along the grass, take that right hand turn where the black car has just gone, and that'll take me into Salisbury. Probably look for a fish and chip shop, and then maybe head for the station and just sit on the platform and eat my chips.
This is a Great Western Railway service to Bristol, Pennsylvania.
I'm going to try and look out and see if I can spot this.